Chris, you're going to have a lot of new pitchers to catch from this year. What have you seen from those guys so far?
You know, I've seen huge improvements. I've seen guys who are eager to learn, who've made huge adjustments since the beginning of fall. They look tremendous right now, and I think, we're going to see a lot of good stuff here early spring, and come February 19th, I think they'll be ready to pitch.
Is learning and accepting roles something you can help pitchers with as well?
I think so, to a certain extent. I'm not a huge, master of pitching, but I can help with the nerves and you kind of keep them calm and keep them trusting themselves. Coach C has done a tremendous job along with Coach Kopp. They've having the sayings all fall of forcing weak contact. So they, like I said before, they made huge improvements, and it's been exciting to watch and exciting to catch.
Playing for Team USA, did that help your game at all? Did it change anything? What did it do for you?
It was more so of a learning experience. You get to play with some of the guys, especially last year when I was still a rising sophomore, playing with like Carson Fulmer, Alex Bregman, and Dansby Swanson. Seeing those guys play, seeing how they react after failure is the big thing for me. So, getting to pick those guys' mind and come back here and play with the other guys last year it was very huge for me.
If I recall correct, did you call games last year?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Plan to do so again this year?
I'm not sure. It's not up to me. If Coach C wants me to, I will. But he's been calling pitches throughout the fall, and he's been doing a tremendous job. So we've been working well together. I'm looking forward to it.
Do you have to adjust as well to having a new pitching coach?
It's the thing. I think it's an adjustment for everybody. Early on, you kind of get used to each other, feel each other out, see what they offer. But I think it's been a very good adjustment. We've been working together well. We've been having meetings, meeting face to face with each other, and kind of getting to know the pitching staff and each other well.
Clint said he's been working really hard in his changeup in the offseason. How much of an improvement have you seen in that, and how much of a weapon will that be being able to keep the hitters, racing as far as speed?
It's been huge. Every time you can add another pitch, it's always tremendous, especially when it's effective. So he's been throwing it well, like I said, throughout fall and early spring, and he has been working on it hard. I think it'll be very good for his pitching game, be very good for us because he's a ground ball pitcher. So anything that a hitter has to see that he's not used to is very, very beneficial for the pitcher.
As a guy who's going to be catching a lot of innings, especially on the weekend, not knowing the rotation, so many new guys you haven't caught, is that kind of a long-term learning experience kind of thing you feel you have to do in a short amount of time?
I got to catch most of the guys throughout the fall. Yeah. So seeing other stuff, I think that was very beneficial towards me. Like I said, whoever they throw out there, we're all comfortable with. We've caught them enough this fall to where we know what they have and what we expect them to throw. So whoever they throw out there in the weekend, we'll be comfortable with, I'll be comfortable with, and we'll be looking forward to compete for them behind them.
Charlie and Clay are going to compete.
Right.
Who stands out in that next group that competes for Sunday?
There's a bunch of guys that can fill in that spot. They're throwing well. Andrew Towns, new guy, he's been throwing very well. And Brooks Crawford, the freshman, I think he has a very good chance of getting that spot. I love catching them, and I love catching the rest of the guys. So whoever they put in that spot, I'm comfortable with, and I look forward to catching them.
As you go through the next few weeks of simulated games, Coach Lee said he doesn't even really look at the line. What do you look at in terms of tendencies as to which guys are going to emerge?
I kind of look at what they do, in tough situations. It's a whole different ball game when you step on the field and it's February 19th, actually fans in the stands, and so you look forward to that. You look for how they react to their failures. So that's one thing I look for. Is one thing if they can make mid-game adjustments. So that's one big thing I look for.
This is a little bit different role for you now. You've kind of become a veteran, and a lot of people know who you are now. Your name is getting out there more. Do you feel any extra pressure to carry this team, or do you just stay relaxed and be who you are?
I stay relaxed and be who you are. We have a bunch of great players in this team that can be very beneficial to our team. We have Weston Wilson, Eli White, Reed Roman, who are great offensive players, and the pitching staff that's emerging is going to be fun to watch. So you got to stay loose, stay fun, and stay playing the game, and go out there and try to win.
Coach talks about the importance of defense up the middle. What have you kind of seen from some of those guys, Eli, Weston, Chase?
I think Weston being the second base was huge. He's been looking fantastic. Even with his bat, he's been swinging it well, and I think the way he looks at second base has been a huge, huge improvement for us. They've been throwing double plays up like it's nothing. So I think I'm excited for that for the season. I know they are too.
How beneficial is that going to be for a new weekend rotation?
Oh, huge. If we can get ground balls and trust our defense that they can get 2 outs with 1 pitch, it's always huge. So I have all the trust in the world, and I know the rest of the team does too, and we're looking forward to February 19th.
Being one of the leaders on last year's team and going through that transition, obviously one of your goals got to be earn the trust of the coaching staff.
Right.
How was that process during the fall, and where do you stand on that right now?
It's always a huge thing. When you have new coaches, it's kind of like a new tryout in a way. You have to express yourself, keep trying to impress the coaches. So I think the process went well. I think, we all got to know each other very well and met with each other, had the team meetings at the end of fall. And, I think all the players have all the respect and role for Coach Lee, the new staff he brought up. And, again, we're all looking forward to February 19th.
How much fun is it for a guy like you with Monty Lee, who's an offensive-minded guy?
Oh, it's so fun. He loves the power. He loves, hitting balls in the stands. So the last round of BP is always fun. And, just being out there and hearing his philosophy, and even Coach Bucks, it's awesome to hear. So, Coach Leggett has some great philosophies as well. Obviously, it's a big move, but I'm looking forward to the season.
A lot of times when they do those preseason